how's it going? So this is a follow-up video to a previous video about our COVID experience here. We live in Hawaii, and I think we fully recovered.
Most part of it.
Most of it. So in this video, I thought we'd go over our symptom timeline, just kind of what we experienced overall and when we started to feel better. And also, the Department of Health here in Hawaii reached out to me and asked if we could answer a series of questions. They wanted to do like an article on us, on our family, and how we handled this whole situation. And I figured since we're going to answer those questions, we could also answer those questions for everyone on this channel. So that'll come towards the end. But before we get started, I did want to thank everyone for their well wishes and prayers and all those wonderful comments as we were recovering. It was pretty tough, I'd say. But just thank you so much for all those wonderful comments. It really was encouraging for us. All right, so let's talk about day 0. So we're gonna try to refer to these as like day 0 all the way through. And so day 0 would be,
I guess me, because it all started with me.
Yeah.
I remember when I woke up that day, I felt some kind of scratchy throat, and I think was I coughing already?
I don't know if you're coughing, but I know that you, no, you might have been coughing.
I might have been coughing, or I started to realize that there's something wrong with my throat, and then some kind of, I thought I had a kind of scratchy throat and coughing a little bit. And I remember texting you saying like, I'm starting to kind of feel a little bit sick, but then not too much, because I remember it was just something was going on in my throat. I took the COVID, the home kit test.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then it was negative, so I was like, oh, okay, I guess it's just nothing serious, or maybe I just caught a cold or at the beginning of it, but I didn't think it was going to lead to having a COVID.
Yeah, I thought it was actually you just being tired from a long weekend. I know you're really busy with Easter stuff, so I just thought, oh, she's just tired. It might be just fatigue, and she'll get over it. But then the next day was, we'll call it day 1.
That's day 1. So day 1, I started to feel more sick. So like feeling more tired. I remember as the day went on, like I started to get kind of headache, light headache, little bit body ache on my calf, and I think my scratchy throat and coughing got worse. So I remember texting you again.
Yeah.
And then you told me to take the COVID test again. And I was like, no, this cannot be it. But then I remember when I took it, it was the home kit was kind of like a pregnancy test, where like it showed you gotta wait till like for 10 minutes or so, but then once you have COVID, it shows that kind of that positive line already. So I was like positive, and I was like, and I texted you again. I was like, okay, I think I'm positive, and you told me to do the different one, so I did a second one again, and then on the both kit, it showed positive.
At the time, did you think our son was sick?
He started coughing a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
He started coughing a little bit. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But then other than that, he was just acting normal, like, just jumping, running all around. So, yeah, I didn't think he would catch it.
Okay, so then we get to day 2. And on day 2, that's when
we went for the drive-through
test.
Drive-through test,
at Kaiser.
Yeah.
Which was really good, by the way. If you're in Hawaii and you're a Kaiser member, they did a really great job with that test. The testing site and everything was real easy and very fast. That was the first time, he got
swabbed.
He got swabbed. That didn't go too well in the car.
Well, yeah,
did a good job.
Yeah, I mean, it's
tough.
uncomfortable for adults too. I mean, it must be worse for kids.
Yeah. But all 3 of us took the test.
I mean, at the testing site, they told me, like, "Are you pregnant?" I was like, "Yeah, see my stomach." Result came in within that day.
Yeah,
same day.
it was pretty fast.
It came within like 6 hours, because I thought the result won't come for like another day or 2. So.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. But it came really fast.
Yeah.
And you and our son were positive, and I was negative.
Yeah, which was so strange. I was like, how could you be negative?
By day 2, I was starting to get a scratchy throat, but no other symptoms. So I was like, I probably have it at this point, just because of the proximity of, we live all together in one place. So there was no chance for distancing or going out to like separating. Just impossible.
Yeah.
On that day, our son was struggling. Even though he wasn't like
Yeah, so I
sick.
remember
Yeah.
he was doing fine in the morning.
Yeah.
But then towards the afternoon, like past noon, he was starting to get very fussy. And I think that's when he started to have fever too.
Yeah.
And he was just crying, fussy, and then
Yeah.
and he started kind of throwing up. But then like that throw up was the vomit was because he was crying so much that
Yeah.
it caused him to gag, and then that triggered him to
Yeah.
vomit. So
that was when I think it was like 3 or 4 times.
oh man,
It was
yeah,
pretty bad.
we had to constantly clean up
Yeah.
like carpet.
Yeah. On day 3 of all of this, how was that day?
I think that's when I start to feel a little bit better.
Yeah.
But then I think that's when I noticed that I started to lose my taste bud.
On day 3, I was still just sore throat.
Oh, that's right.
I was still feeling pretty tired, but that was it. There was nothing else. And our son was like,
Oh yeah, he was fine.
he was like back to normal. Pretty
yeah,
much.
that was so weird. He
Yeah.
was
Like a little bit cough,
yeah, he was just coughing.
but pretty much
then
he's like super like
it was
when
normal.
yeah when our son's sick, he's like very tired and he lies down. So it's pretty obvious when he's sick. But then when he's all better, he's just like so he was at that point he was pretty much all better. But then we couldn't leave.
Yeah, we couldn't
Right.
leave.
We had to stay in isolation. So that was, I think, kind of hard. So day 4, though, that was the day that I started to feel it. And it was pretty hard. Like, I had to go get a COVID test. So I went to the city and county of Honolulu. They had free testing. So I remember I got there early and I was second in line. And I was talking to the guy in front of me, and he was there for work purposes, just get tested. And then I told him like, oh yeah, my wife and son tested positive, so I'm here. And then he started to put his mask on. So I thought that was kind of funny. Like, I mean, we were outside and we were like 6 feet apart, but I just thought it was kind of funny. He started putting his mask back on. The test results came in that day for me, and it was still negative. So I didn't know what was going on because I was like full on like feeling the symptoms, but for whatever reason the testing negative.
I think already past my peak. I remember I started to recover because when I was down, you were taking care of me, and then our role kind of had to switch.
Yeah, I was out. And then you
Yeah.
had to kinda
So I
take
kind
care
of had to kind of watch after our son and then take care of household.
Yeah.
And I think I was starting to feel better.
I experienced the loss of taste. And I didn't expect that because I heard that was a symptom. And I remember thinking like way early on, like when this whole thing was happening like 2 years ago, I was like, oh, that must be kind of interesting. It was so ironic that I experienced that, and it's not that interesting. You know, like I can just say losing your sense of taste and smell, it sounds kind of novel and fun, but actually it makes eating quite boring. I remember just like, I felt like it didn't matter what I ate because I couldn't taste anything, which is very weird.
I remember when I told that to my dad on the phone, he was like, oh, you should have made him eat all these foods that he doesn't like, like natto.
Yeah.
Because he can't taste
Yeah.
anything.
And then on day 5, I do want to mention that that's the day that we received the boxes of food and supply, which was really unexpected.
Yeah.
I didn't expect to get any supplies, and that was the Department of Health and St. Francis.
Yeah, it was Department of
yeah.
Health. They called me because I was the one who tested positive, and along with our son. During that phone call, they asked, "Oh, do you need any like food to be sent?" And I talked to you about it, and we're like, "Sure." I guess.
Yeah.
And then we could also, because we have a kid too, so they're like, "Oh, do you need diapers or wipes, like a formula for like baby food, like even like the over-the-counter medicine?" And then we were able to request some. So that was quite unexpected.
Yeah,
helpful,
that
very
was
helpful.
really helpful and generous, and it was they dropped it off right at our door.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just amazing that they were able to do that. So thank you to the people
thank
that
you.
were involved in that. So moving into day 6, I was still doing okay. I was still feeling like the body chills and the aches and everything. Still couldn't taste anything. But by day 7, I would say that for me, I was doing a whole lot better. And I couldn't return to work just because of the policies that they do have. So I ended up missing a lot of work, or work from home, I should say. But I was doing a whole lot better. at home, which was nice because I think had I gone to the office, I still would have been pretty tired, even though I didn't really have any symptoms besides the taste.
Physically, yeah, I mean, I was still coughing with phlegm. That was just bad. I was just, yeah, the cough was just a killer. I mean, even right now, I still sometimes cough. But then I heard that, yeah, coughs tend to last a little bit longer.
By day 9 of this whole thing, that's when my taste came back. People were telling me it might take a month. I'm really
Yeah,
glad
I
it wasn't a
remember.
month.
Yeah.
You know, because it would have been really boring to eat food.
Yeah.
But it was.
Took about a week.
But I will say though, like, we do have coughs. I have coughs, and then our son has a cough, kind of.
Kind of sometimes, but I don't know if it's from the COVID.
Yeah, and then you have a cough.
I mean, I still do have a
Yeah.
cough.
I thought that during this time I'd lose weight. But actually, no, it didn't really happen.
I know.
Yeah, I thought that would be a side effect, but no, that wasn't one of them, unfortunately. I think we should also talk about what's generally going on here in Hawaii in terms of the case counts. I think that's important for people to understand, local or not local. Like if you're looking at Hawaii right now, just they should know it's not to scare people. It's just to more just be aware. So previously, they would report daily case counts. So everyone knew, and that would pretty much be like the headline for the day was how many counts for that day, right? Everyone would just see that and then everyone would react. But now they reduced it to weekly counts. So we don't get that for 6 days out of the week, and just on one day we get the whole week's count, which is a pretty big number. But then you gotta divide it by seven to get the daily counts. And so right now, as of this week, it's about 722 daily count when you account for the total for the entire week. And of course, in Hawaii, we've been experiencing a climb. For me, I can say while we were going through all of this, I didn't realize how much of a, I guess you can call it a surge, or how much it's been happening. Like, because we don't see that anymore, right? We don't see every single day. And so when you don't see that every single day, you kind of just think, oh, it's all good. We're at like
Normal.
Yeah, we're like at 0, you know, even though I know we're not 0, but it's like, it's such a low count. We're like, oh, we don't even think about it. But I know once we got it and I started seeing the weekly counts, I'm like, oh, okay, we're back in the hundreds, and it's quite high. So I just would caution people, you know, it's important to continue to stay safe and make sure that you are following whatever the policies are. Currently, I know they can always change, but I know from like a news public information perspective, it's a little different just because it's weekly instead of every single day. And they also don't even count the at-home positives, which would have been me, because when I tested positive at home, eventually it wasn't counted.
I mean, even for us, we didn't expect to get COVID, like, especially before giving birth. That we're just like, oh no, not us. And just like, it kind of made, well, I guess it was a good thing for us to experience so that we kind of still be aware of what's happening. And then if you don't pay attention to the news, I mean, of course, they only do weekly. That's the tricky part. I think people thinks that it's like, oh, it's kind of back to normal, but not really. Like, wait until you catch it. And, you know, it's like, and then once you get it, it's like, it's too late, you know.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're going to answer the Department of Health questions that they wanted us to answer, and just thought we'd share these. Okay, so the first question is, how is our family doing now?
I think we're doing a lot better. I mean, unfortunately, I don't think we are fully recovered because of the coughs that we still have, but I think other than that, we're doing fine.
Yeah, I agree.
Almost back to normal.
Yeah, almost back to normal. Do you think hearing your real-world experience about COVID is more effective at getting your viewers for this channel to take prevention measures rather than hearing messages from healthcare officials?
Yeah, I think hearing those personal experiences is more, I guess, real. I mean, through your channel, it's like by sharing and sharing about what we've gone through. I think that is more personable.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a message through like social media, as long as it's not to like scare people, and I hope no one sees this as like a scare to scare people, but just to be cautious. And I think it does a lot for like people watching, because especially here, I feel like we've kind of like forgotten in a lot of ways and kind of just moved on. And so by having just sometimes like these reminders or these stories, I think, yeah, people like put a face to like the numbers because, for a long time, especially in the beginning, I don't think I knew anyone that caught
I
COVID.
not that many
you know
people,
and
at least.
yeah, and so I think now with more and more people catching it, I think it's it's nice to get like these friendly reminders, and if this channel and if we can do that and just making sure that people are being careful and get that message out, I think that's a good thing. What COVID concerns do you have? For me, a big concern is future variants,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
and then
yeah.
also boosters.
Oh yeah, how
and-
many
and-
shots do we need to
yeah.
continue to take?
And I think that's important to figure out, and especially for our son and other son, going forward, like what is the plan going to be for that? So I think those are probably my concerns when it comes to all
for
this.
kids especially.
Do you think being vaccinated lessened the severity of your COVID infection?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree. Well, from hearing the people that were not vaccinated and actually they got COVID, I heard they went through quite a hard time. Yeah, I mean for us we went through a hard time, but I still feel like we were in the mild side. Like I don't think we were like to the point where like can't move out from the bed or like
Yeah.
I just want to say thank you for of course everybody that has been sending warm messages and
Yeah.
and also but also all the health health workers.
Yeah.
DOH who kept calling to make sure that we're doing okay, and Kaiser for monitoring, and well probably because I'm pregnant so that's why they had to keep monitoring me.
Yeah, I was surprised by like it's not really customer service, but just like the care that we got, because I figured once we got like nobody would say anything to us, like nobody would communicate with us. They'd just be like,
But they had to monitor like 5 days at least. So
I just figured they'd just be like, okay, you're positive, all right, just stay at home and never talk to us again. But they were really friendly. And the healthcare workers, nurses, everyone just being really great.
food bank.
Yeah, Hawaii Food Bank.
yeah.
And it was just very much appreciated. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah. Oh, that's it. Thanks for watching, and aloha.
Hello, hello.